Hi, I'm Dean the Reading Machine. Today I'm reading.
What are you reading? Your glasses.
The day Santa stopped believing in heroin. Christmas in 2 days. And tomorrow it's Christmas Eve, which means at nighttime, Santa Claus will be coming to town. And that's why I got a book from the library called The Day Santa Stopped Believing in Harold.
Did you get to see Santa at all this year?
Yep.
What did you ask him for?
Art kits.
You can take those off. You can take them off. So you asked him for an art kit. What did you want in the art kit?
Oh, art kit. Art and supplies for desks.
For desks.
Yeah, and
What kind of crafts do you want to make? Or art? What kind of art do you want to make?
And this is the funny part. When Santa says, "Do I look like a baby to you?"
Okay, so Santa doesn't believe in this boy. It's like reversed, because this boy doesn't believe in him, right?
Yeah, and when Santa goes in, he hides behind a chair, a couch like this, and tries not to let Trey go to sleep. But Harold's dad just spitted out the coffee. Here's Mom just went, ah! Because I never saw Santa.
Are you gonna try and stay awake to try and catch Santa Claus?
No.
No? You don't care to see him?
I know Santa won't come to my house.
Why?
Because you have to be asleep. You're not allowed to see Santa.
True.
And
Do you believe in Santa?
yeah, of course I believe in him. Playing cards.
What's your favorite part of Christmas, Dean?
When Jesus is born.
Well, that's nice, because Jesus is the reason for the
Christmas.
season.
Yes. The day Santa stopped believing in Harold. One stormy night, very close to Christmas, Santa and Mrs. Claus were sitting in their cozy little log cabin at the North Pole. Mrs. Claus was busy mending the seam of Santa's fourth best pair of red velvet pants. Santa was supposed to be going over the roster for this year's sleigh team. Instead, he was moping. Several times, Mrs. Claus asked Santa what was wrong. Each time he muttered, nothing. And then, finally, Mrs. Claus said, "Papa, I can't help you if you won't tell me what the problem is." "All right," said Santa with another sigh. "Well, you know Harold." Mrs. Claus smiled. "Brown hair, freckles, lost a tooth last week, sometimes forgets to stop," interrupted Santa in a choked voice. "Don't say another word. You don't need to keep pretending on my account because I don't believe in Harold anymore." Mrs. Claus stared at Santa as though he suddenly sprouted antlers. "Look, Harold, look. Harold has always been a big part of my Christmas, and I still like the idea of Harold," explained Santa. "But lastly, I've come to realize that there has a lot of things about Harold that just don't make sense." "Like what?" said Mrs. Claus. "For one thing, I'm pretty sure his mom writes his Santa letter," said Santa. "So what if she does?" said Mrs. Claus. "That doesn't mean anything. Maybe not, said Santa. But what about the snack, huh? What about that? What about it? Said Mrs. Claus. I think Herod's dad lays out my snack on Christmas Eve, whispered Santa to Lanham.
Dramatically.
Think about it. Herod is way too small to lift up a big carton of milk. He can barely hold his own hand.
Head up.
Head up. Papa, Herod isn't a baby anymore. Yes, well, that's another thing, isn't it? So that Herod who sat on my knee at the mall last year didn't even look like the real Herod. Herod is a real person, Papa, said Mrs. Claus. Real people look different from ear to ear. Santa wasn't listening. You know what's going on here, don't you? He asked. Herod's parents are trying to trick me into believing in him. And why would they want to do that? Asked Mrs. Claus. They think that if I know the truth about Harold, Christmas will be ruined for me, cried Santa. Either that or they won't.
Will they want?
Well, they want the Herod gifts all for themselves. Mrs. Claus shook her head and said, "You know what you are doing, don't you? You're looking for reasons not to believe in Herod instead of just accepting him as one of the best, most magical parts of Christmas." Santa looked uncomfortable and maybe even a little uncertain, but all he said was, "I know what I know." The terrible news traveled like a spooked
Arctic
hare. Santa has stopped believing in children. Not all children, Santa assured Merpin, the elf supervisor in the computer gizmo department. Just Herod. Said Merpin. And you know what else? Said Santa. I'm not the only one who doesn't believe in him. My friends don't believe in him either. Said Merpin. Jack Frost says his mom and dad told him that Herod doesn't exist. And the Alban snow monster says only a baby would believe in Herod. Said Merpin. Do I look like a baby to you? Whom Santa. Merpin stared at Santa's twinkling eyes, rosy cheeks, and jingling jelly bells. Forget I asked, Santa. I'm going to talk to the reindeer. The reindeer listened carefully to Santa's advice.
Evidence
against the exciting existence of Herod. Then they whispered among themselves for a few minutes. Finally, Donner said, "On the one hand, we're not convinced that Herod is real." "I knew it," said Santa unhappily. "On the other hand," continued Donner, "we're not convinced that Herod isn't real." "So what are you saying?" asked Santa. "What we're saying is that you need proof," said Donner, "and we think we know just how you can get it." Now, strange as it seems, while Santa was up north telling Mrs. Claus and the elves and the reindeer that he didn't think Herod was real, Herod was down south telling his friends, and his turtle that he doesn't think Santa was real. Deep in his heart, Herod wanted to believe in Santa, but that older Harold got, the harder it was for him to just have faith. What I need to is proof, thought Harold. And I think I just know how I could get it. That Christmas Eve, Harold hung his stockings, helped set up out the Santa sack, and hung his parents goodnight, just like he did every Christmas Eve. On this particular night, however, after his mom and dad had gone to bed, Harold tiptoed back into the front room and hid behind the armchair across from the fireplace. If Santa is real, thought Harold drowsily, I will definitely be able to see him coming. Many hours later, Santa and the reindeer touched down on the roof of Harold's house, which Santa has saved for last. Santa's plan was to hide in Harold's front room and see if Harold ran out of his bed on Christmas morning. If he did, Santa would know that Harold was real. If he didn't, Harold's parents would have some explaining to do. After settling into his hiding spot, Santa tried to stay awake, but it was extremely warm and cozy in Harold's front room, and Santa was very tired after his night's work. Slowly he closed his sleepy eyes. The next thing Santa knew was Christmas morning. Too bad we don't know any little boys who'd like to open some presents from Santa, said Harold's mom, who spotted Harold hiding behind an armchair. Thought Santa. Too bad there's no present from Santa, whispered Harold's father. Oops, thought Santa, who'd forgot to set up the gifts before hiding. I don't care about presents, said Harold as he slowly stood up. I want to see Santa, and I didn't. And the sound of Harold's voice, Santa's heart gave a wild leap. You're real! He shouted joyfully as he jumped up from behind the sofa. Harold's mom screamed. Harold's father sprayed coffee everywhere. Harold's face lit up like a Christmas tree. You're real! He shouted, running over to give Santa a hug. After Harold and Santa got over the shock of finding out that each of them had thought that the other wasn't real, they sat on the floor reading comics, playing with toys, and licking candy cane into the sound of tiny hooves impatiently stomping on the roof, reminded Santa that it was time to go home. Goodbye, Harold. Goodbye, Harold's parents, cried Santa as he prepared to magic himself up the chimney. Goodbye, Santa, cried Harold. See you next Christmas morning, unless you'd rather fall asleep on someone else's sofa, cried his parents. Santa's big booming laugh rang out once, shaking the wall and knocking several glass ornaments off the tree. And then, in a wink of an eye, he was gone. The end.
So, what do you say to kids who don't believe in Santa?
That they will have to hide behind an armchair to find out.
But
that
you said it yourself. Santa won't come if you try and see him.
Yeah, but that worked out for Harold.
Only because Santa was hiding behind his couch. But if Santa wasn't hiding behind his couch, he would have skipped his house. So what do you tell kids that who don't believe in Santa?
Have faith, because Santa is real.
He's a real guy.
See you later, folks, and have a wonderful Merry Christmas. And thank you for watching my channel. And I will make more videos and get more books so I can keep going on with my channel. Bye. Oh, you will see me January 8th.
Probably before the 8th.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just gonna take next week off, right? So
No,
this is
we're gonna take 2 weeks off. Why?
just 1 week off.
We're gonna take 1 week off, so you won't see me for 1 week.
So we're not gonna see them until 2018.
2018, you'll see me. Bye-bye. Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. Bye. Stay tuned for 2018.